Okay, this is just a short little user experience video with the Fuji X100S. I've had it for about 2-3 weeks now, and I absolutely love the camera. It's got the leather case with it. It's actually comes apart and is a half case, but I'll show you that in just a second. And this has got the lens hood in it. So unfortunately it doesn't come with the lens hood. You have to buy that separately. So let's just take a look. This is magnetic right here. So you just flip that up and pop it off. You can actually leave it on there if you want to as you're shooting, but it just has two snaps on the bottom really. You just take that off. And so here you have the camera with the half of the case on. And this is actually a 49mm Sony lens cap and fits perfectly. The camera really just comes with a slip-on lens cap, and it really can fall off very easily. So this lens ring adapter just spins on. It's threaded, and it has the bayonet lens hood on it. So once it's on there, it's a really pretty camera, and if you've known anything about the X100, you know about the improvements for the X100S, like the focusing. It has the built-in phase detection in the center of the sensor, built into the sensor. Let's turn it on, and so I've got it in the single point autofocus right now, and the phase detect, as far as I understand, is just sort of right in the center here. So if you're right in here in the center, it's probably about right in this area, I would say. That's going to be phase detect. The outer edges is going to be the contrast detect autofocus. And as far as the experience goes, I've had it for, like I said, about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And this has the new 16 megapixel X-Trans sensor, similar to the ones in the X Pro 1, XE1, and I guess the XM1 now. With the difference being that this has the phase detect built into the center of the sensor. Focusing is pretty quick. If you watch the lens as it's focusing, it does kind of pump in and out, and so I think that that does kind of slow it down a little bit. If it was totally internally focusing, I think it'd be a lot quicker. There's no image stabilization, so video would be a little jittery if you're trying to shoot video. But as far as the image quality, I think most people would be buying this just for the still image quality. Video image quality is pretty good, and the audio from the video, I think, is a lot better than the X Pro 1. I had the X Pro 1 for a little while, and it was pretty atrocious, actually. I don't know how they did the audio on the X Pro 1 for the video, but it was really pretty bad. So if you do use it for video, the audio is actually pretty good, and it makes pretty good videos. But if you want to shoot it on a tripod, that's fine. But if you're going to be walking around or just hand holding it, you're not very careful, you're going to see a lot of bouncing around. But back to the image quality for the stills, it's very good image quality. The files, it's just hard to explain. There's a certain look and feel to the files, different than some of the regular what they call bare sensor type cameras, versus this one, which is the X-Trans sensor. It's hard to explain. I think if you want to say the images have a certain soul to them. Very detailed, since there's no optical low-pass filter over top of the sensor. And I don't really know what to say other than it's just been very impressed by the image quality. Having had the X Pro 1, I sort of knew what to expect. Really got this just to kind of go along with a Nikon D600, and extremely happy with the D600 image quality. The dynamic range on that camera is really good. I would say this the X100S is not as good as the D600 as far as dynamic range, but it's pretty close. So shooting in broad daylight, really bright sun, it does really well as far as maintaining highlights and the shadows. The strap that comes along with the leather case, it's really good. It has a little grip on the back here. It doesn't fall off your shoulder very easily, and it's just a really nice look and good quality leather. But like I said, I think what most people will be buying this for is the image quality, and I've been extremely happy with it. The camera's small, lightweight. It fits right in my laptop bag. When I have the the leather case on it, I just slip it right in that little pocket on my laptop bag, and I take it with me when I'm traveling. Regarding this lens cap, I just found this on Amazon. It's a 49mm. It does say Sony, but it's sort of subdued. It's not really bad. But it's the pinch type, so it's pretty convenient. You can slip it in there and just have that on as you're walking around. A little bit of extra protection, even though the lens hood's on. I still worry that something would kind of get in there and tap the front of the lens, and then I'd be really depressed if I scratched the lens. Oh, as far as the access to the card and the battery, it does have a little snap here on the side. I think the old leather case for the X100, not the X100S, was a little bit different. You couldn't open the bottom. Now you cannot get to the tripod mount, so if you're interested in that, you might want to buy some of the third-party leather cases that have a built-in tripod mount also. But you basically just pop this open, and there you have access to the battery and the lens card, the memory card. Batteries seem to take a while to charge. I don't know why. It's a lot longer than the batteries take to charge on my D600. So I always have a spare battery anyway, so that's not a big deal. Usually, just turning the camera off and on between when I'm shooting, it normally would last me all day with a full charge on one battery, and using it, I would say moderate to fairly heavy, but and also reviewing the images on the back and deleting a few here and there. That's pretty much how I use it. I do use the LCD quite a bit to frame the pictures. If it's just too difficult with the lighting, I'll use the EVF in here. I don't normally use the optical viewfinder. If it was maybe very, very dark, I might use it, but probably I'm always going to be using the EVF or the LCD on the back of the screen, on the back of the camera. I don't think there's really too much else to say about it. That I've got a gallery. I'll try to put a link to the gallery of the pictures I've shot with this so far. But again, I'm extremely happy with it. I really, really love this camera, and I've heard a lot of other people have high praises about this camera. People like Zach Arias and David Hobby, some well-known professionals. But so that's pretty much it. I don't normally use the flash. It's probably one of those cameras, other than some of the professionals, that people wouldn't normally use the flash very much. But as far as operation, it's what you would expect. Everything's pretty easy to get to, and there's a little Q menu here. You just click that, and you have access to a lot of the different settings. Really, the only time I go in here is if I'm changing the focus mode. So I might go in there, you just spin the dial, and then you can actually just click the shutter, and you've already changed it. You don't have to confirm it or anything. So you click the Q menu, you can spin it to change whatever you want to and go back to it. Also macro mode is kind of the same way, so you click it once, it's already off. Just click it twice, and then just either let it time out or click the shutter button, and now it's in macro mode. So to get back out of that, just go back to off. Excuse me, and you're back off. So I think that's about it. I'm not really sure what more to say about it. I think I've said that a few times now and kept going, but I think I'll stop now. Again, I'm very impressed with the camera. I'm extremely happy with it. And if you find one in stock somewhere and buy one, I'm sure you'll be happy with it too.